Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are cracking open a real cult classic, Bill Greene's Think Like a Tycoon. We're going to walk through the exact blueprint he lays out for building an empire, right from the ground up.
Okay, let's just dive right in with Greene's most provocative idea. What if the very things that cause most of us so much financial stress, inflation and taxes, what if you could actually use them to build wealth? He basically argues that instead of just getting beat up by the game, you can learn to master its rules.
So Greene doesn't mess around. He lays out this really bold 2-year plan to get financially free using real estate. So let's walk through it. But we have to start with the most critical part, the mindset. Because before you even think about buying a single property, he says you have to fundamentally change the way you think.
According to Greene, becoming a tycoon has pretty much nothing to do with being a genius. It's not about your report card. It is all about your attitude, how you look at money, problems, and just the world. He's saying that being book smart doesn't automatically mean you'll be successful. It's the mindset that really makes the difference.
And Greene really paints this picture of two totally different mindsets. On one side, you've got what he calls the wage slave, who's constantly worried and clinging to this idea of job security. But then you have the tycoon, who kind of laughs at problems and sees opportunity everywhere. It's a total flip, right? From a mindset of fear to one of action and opportunity.
And he is so insistent on this point, you have to see business not as some boring chore, but as a creative, fun game. I mean, what if you could actually find real joy in making deals and building something out of nothing? He says you've got to ignore all the naysayers and just truly believe that what you're doing is fun.
So, to really drive this point home, Greene tells this incredible story about a guy named Joe Garibaldi. He was an immigrant who built a fortune from scratch, only to see it completely, poof, vanish overnight in the 1929 stock market crash.
Now, for most people, this would be devastating, and it was for his family. But Joe, he adjusted almost immediately. See, he had that tycoon mentality. He didn't waste a single minute on despair. He just went right back to the basics and started all over again.
And here is the crucial point he's making. For a tycoon, failure isn't the end of the road. It's just a temporary detour. All that knowledge and experience you got the first time around, it just makes the journey back to the top that much quicker.
Okay, so you've got the mindset down. What's next? Well, now we get into what Greene calls the tycoon's toolkit. These are the practical, hands-on preparations he insists you make before you even think about your first deal. This is all about laying that solid groundwork.
He really hammers home that self-education is everything. You have to study the people who've already done it, learn from them. You need to speak the language, know the jargon, and maybe most importantly, you absolutely have to understand the numbers.
A huge part of this toolkit is making a mental shift from being a consumer to being a producer. And all that really means is you're preserving every dollar you can for investing. He breaks it all down into 3 super simple rules.
So before you buy anything, Greene wants you to run it through this little 3-question filter. And look, the goal here isn't just about being frugal. It's about building the mental discipline to save every single dollar for its real purpose, investment.
He also has this great warning he calls the red ribbon rule. Basically, avoid any deal that seems too good to be true. The ones that are just handed to you, all wrapped up nicely, where all you have to do is write a check. He says those will never ever work out. The best deals are the ones you have to go out and create yourself. All right, your mindset is right, your toolkit is ready, now it's finally time to get in the game. And that brings us to Greene's specific, low-risk playbook for actually finding and structuring your very first deals.
Now, Greene's playbook isn't about finding that one perfect, magical deal. Nope. It's about creating opportunities through volume and knowledge. He says you have to look at a minimum of 100 properties. 100! He calls it your kindergarten. It gives you a feel for the market that you just can't get from a book. And only then are you ready to start making offers.
But hold on. How can you possibly make dozens of offers without taking on a huge financial risk? Well, Greene says you can be aggressive and negotiate from a place of strength because you have a crucial tool, kind of like a secret weapon, in your contract.
And here it is, the escape clause. It's so simple. In every single offer, you write this little sentence. This offer is subject to my approval of the termite report. Then, according to Greene, you can just say, I don't approve for literally any reason at all. Maybe you found a better deal. Maybe you just changed your mind. It doesn't matter. This simple sentence gives you total control to back out of any deal risk-free.
So, after all this work, The mindset shift, the self-education, the dozens of offers. What's the end game? What's it all for? Well, according to Green, it actually isn't just about the money.
Green defines the ultimate goal not as luxury, which he says just ties you down with stuff, but as true freedom, the ability to control your own time, to live wherever you want, and to go after your real passions. That, in a word, is what it's all about.
And for him, this freedom wasn't just a personal thing. It meant having the resources to challenge things he saw as unfair in the world. It also gave him the ability to give back, but on his own terms. Like when he chose to go and teach his business classes in prisons.
Ultimately, Green's message is that opportunity is absolutely everywhere. He says life is like this giant banquet, but most people never even get close to the table. You have to have the courage to actually pull up a chair.
And that's really the heart of Think Like a Tycoon. It's a provocative, powerful blueprint that lays out all the steps, but it leaves the single most important one, that decision to actually get started. Well, that part is squarely up to you.